So hey guys, I'm still getting over this stupid cold that I feel like I've had for 2 months, but I'm doing a response video and more of my points of view on Holly Brown's newest video where she talked about, you know, making art when you don't want to, because this is a question I get a lot as well, and I really liked her points, and I just wanted to point out certain things that I've done. This isn't shitting on her video. I think her video was great, but I wanted to do it from the point of view of a commission artist, which is, what I am, because it is very different than like what Holly does. Holly can do whatever the hell she wants, and she's getting paid for it. While me, I'm working for other people, which isn't bad. If it was bad, I wouldn't be doing it. But I just wanted to explain it because I've had tons of people come and ask me like, "Well, how do you do it all the time? Oh, I've gone this long without drawing, and I don't know how to get back into it." And this is my job, this is my career, and if I don't do it, especially since I've been sick, I don't get paid. Because when you're a commission artist, most of the time, sometimes people take payment afterwards, but I'm one of the people that takes payment up front because I have had people screw me over in the past. And as much as it sucks to say, unless they are a returning commissioner, I don't trust them. And when you're working with a business, that's something you want to look out for too. I have talked to people who have had Patreons where they tell me, I open up a Patreon where I'm mailing stuff out, and suddenly every month stuff's going missing, but I've been running an online store for years and I've never had a package go missing. There's people out there that are assholes that do want to take advantage of you just because they're cheap. And when you're a commission artist, that's especially a thing. So I get paid, and then I do my work, and then I give the client the work. This is why I had a budget, I've had to learn money management, I've had to, learn about taxes and all this, really boring stuff that a lot of people aren't interested in. But if you want this to be a career, this is things you have to look into. And I know a lot of my viewers are young viewers, like high school and under, and or people just like starting out in college trying to get out there. And if you are young, by that I mean like high school and under, you really shouldn't be worrying about this stuff. I'm not saying don't worry about making your art better, because you should, but don't worry about, your finances unless you're in a pretty bad place financially. Most, not all, but most high schoolers and under usually don't have to worry about this. Again, not everyone. I understand there are situations where your family doesn't have a lot of money and you want to try to help out your family, and this will help. But in most cases, that's not the case. And because of that, I'm getting young people who are stressing out, and I'm not even that old myself, but I'm just sitting here like, don't worry about it. If it's not your job, if it's not your bread and butter, just enjoy it. Enjoy it and make it your own. I have this friend who is a full-time high school student who also does extracurriculars, who also does a comic, and has time to make YouTube videos, and has time to post art every week. And, I know back when I was in high school, I wouldn't be able to handle all that. I definitely wouldn't have, and each person is different. And that's the thing I think people need to understand when they watch YouTube videos, is that they see a YouTuber and they think, oh my god, I have to take every note and I have to do exactly what this person does, and that's the only way to be successful. No, because no two people are the same. No two living situations are the same. No two finances are the same. It's not even close. So I'm doing this to like just ramble and talk to you guys about, again, certain things that help me make art when I don't want to. And another good thing is, I've explained how I had retail jobs in the past. I didn't mean to come off as shitting on those jobs. I had bad experiences in them, but everyone who works retail does. But they were helping support me financially when my art couldn't. There's nothing wrong with getting a retail job. In fact, I highly suggest it. I tell everyone they should work retail at least once in their life so they understand what it's like, so you don't end up being, the I want to talk to the manager kind of person, unless it's warranted. But when you have jobs like that, in those cases where it's not a career, it's just a job, you can shut your brain off and do the work, because let's be real, retail is physically strenuous, but mentally it's pretty fucking easy. At least all of mine were. I could shut my brain off and do my work. It didn't matter. And almost everyone I've talked to who's worked retail has kind of done the same thing. So when I was able to go home, I could do whatever the hell I wanted. I could draw and work on whatever I wanted. My finances were taken care of. And it didn't matter. And that was the times when I worked on a lot of personal art. I didn't take many commissions because I didn't have to. I, worked on my story and all this jazz. And then when life happened and I decided doing this full time, I had to push my hobbies aside and create this as my career. Now, as a commission artist, it's not the same as freelance. I do freelance, but it's not in the sense that I might be working on a children's book in the future. This is true. So that's a maybe. But like that's the first time I've had a serious offer about that. And other than that, it's all been, private clients online. It isn't industries. It isn't logos. It isn't making watermarks and IDs for people. It's been, I have a character. Can you please draw my character? Here's some money. And in those cases, I can sort of do the same thing as when I was working retail. I'm told what to do. I paid for it, and so I do it. It doesn't take much thought process because I'm at a skill level now where it's like, okay, they want their character, just their character in my style. Okay, here you go. Here, have fun. And I'm not saying it as it's like boring and monotonous all the time, but some of the times it is. And I rather enjoy that because then when I'm being told what to do, once I'm done with my workday, because I schedule my day out, I can work on my own things. And another important thing that you need to do when you want to make art your job is you really need to have other hobbies. This is something I never hear people on YouTube talk about. And it's really fucking important to have other hobbies that don't consist with art. You can still do arts and craftsy things, because that's what I do. I'm a very artsy craftsy person. But it's very important that you have other hobbies. Even if it's hobbies you don't realize you have. Watching TV can be a hobby. Reading books can be a hobby. Playing video games can be a hobby. Just to get away from physically drawing for a little bit of time a day. Because think about when you worked those retail jobs. What did you do? Because I was the person that, when I'm done working, I would just draw. I would just draw and draw and draw. Sometimes I'd play games and but I would mostly just draw. And when I made that my career, I was going through this really hard depressive state where I was drawing all the time and I didn't think I had other hobbies. I'm like, this is all I am. And then I realized that's not true. There are many other hobbies I like. Like, I like photography. I suck at it, but I enjoy photography. I like craft making. People who watch my vlogs know I've been trying to make candles and junk like that. And I've been still trying to find soap recipes that don't involve lye. But I'm still doing things. I'm saving up to go on vacations with Cody, because that's another huge big thing I see people on YouTube and other people do, is there are videos I'm seeing all the time now of people stretched so thin to where they can't even enjoy a vacation. And the whole point of a vacation is, to get away, to not work, to have fun, to enjoy things. And that's something that I'm noticing more and more, is people are working so hard because they have to. This is their livelihood. They are self-employed. They can't just, okay, here's my paid vacation. It's, okay, I have to do XYZ amount of videos before I leave, or XYZ amount of commissions or yachas or whatever before I go, so I can open up while I'm gone, so I can make money while I'm on vacation. But then when I'm back, I can't relax because I have to work more. And people end up having mental breakdowns, and you're seeing these videos, these poor videos, like poor Jazza made a video recently when I'm recording this about how he's so stretched thin, he's so upset because of things that happen, and he can't just take time off. He can't shut his brain off, and that's a problem a lot of people have, even big YouTubers that people idolize. Bailey J would always talk about how before she would have to do all this work just to go on a vacation. And now she even made videos where she's like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to stress out anymore. And I'm not going to, I think she said she's not doing vlogs on weekends anymore. It's been a while since I've seen a Bailey J video, but I remember she talked like that. And then there are other artists on YouTube that you never see those towards. And those are more of the hobbyist YouTubers. They've openly said in videos this is their hobby. They've said that they have other forms of income, which is fine. I'm not saying having art as your hobby and having fun income from now and then be a problem. It's not. but they're on a different pedestal than the people like us who are working as art is our career. Because since it's a hobby, they don't have to make a video every week. They don't have to do commissions. They don't have to make art if shit happens. We do. And in doing so, something Holly brought up that's very important is financial stability. And it's been many years, but I'm finally at a place myself where I feel semi-financially stable. And I've been doing this for 4 years. And that might sound like, oh God, that happens. And that's because everyone's different. Everyone is extremely different when it comes to financial status, you know? I was always making enough money to pay my bills every month, but sometimes it was just enough to pay my bills every month. And I would get very depressed because, yeah, I made enough to support myself, but I didn't have any money to go anywhere. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't make savings. I couldn't put money aside for my wedding or for the move that Cody and I are trying to do. And it was very heartbreaking and it was very stressful. And all the art I made back then, I'm not proud of, because even though I had a smile on my face and I was nice to my clients, inside I was stressing out and freaking out because I didn't know if I was going to have enough money the next month to pay my bills. And where I lived at the time, getting a job was actually a lot harder than I thought, because this area is like the middle of bumfuck nowhere. There really aren't that many options, and everyone knows everybody. And so since I had an incident where I left my previous job, where the last job I worked where my manager was racist, I have not had any callbacks because it's such a small town, even though it's in California, which you wouldn't think exists, but it does. And because of that, and then now recently my car died, but at the time it's like I couldn't afford gas to go to places, and it was stressful. But now I'm at a place where I can actually relax. I feel comfortable. I'm making some of the best art I've ever made, and I'm still working all the time. And it doesn't feel like a chore to me. Yes, there are days where I wake up, especially since I've been sick this past, it feels like 2 months now, where I don't want to work. I don't want to work. I really don't. I'm like, oh, I wake up, I'm tired, I'm achy, I just want to lay back down or like watch a video or read a book or something. I don't want to work. But I work from home and I'm not dying, so I can work. So even when it's really hard, I force myself to work on something every day. Even if it's not as much as it normally would. Like, I can get a simple commission done really fast. It could be like, okay, I can't get it done, but at least I got 2 sketched out today. I answered a bunch of emails. I let my clients know, because that's one thing I very much pride myself on, is that I try to keep my clients as informed as possible when stuff in my life happens, so they understand. And ever since then, I've always had returning clients. I've had people very, very understanding. I've done, live streams where I talk to you guys and I update you on my life, because I feel like when you're trying to do something financially, you should let people know. You should let people understand. This isn't a normal job. This isn't you clock in, you clock out. You know what I'm saying? And motivation is fleeting. Inspiration is fleeting. And that's one of the things I really do like about being a commission artist, is while I can be very creative and I get people who want me to like design outfits for them or design characters, most of the time it's, oh, here's my character, can you draw them? And I'll be like, sure, why not? And it's sort of the same mentality as before, where I can just kind of shut my brain off, work, enjoy it, get done, and then when I'm done with my workday, I can work on writing my book, I can work on candle making, I can go for a walk, I can play with my pets, I could save up money and see my friends, since I have to pay for gas now, since my car's dead, and it's just situations like this that people don't realize, because art is their hobby. And turning your hobby into your passion now leaves you with a spot that is open, which is where your hobbies need to be. Because if your hobbies become your passion and you have nothing else, you're going to burn out very fast and you're going to end up giving it up. And these are the cases where I see people who try and then they tell me how, like, oh, I stopped drawing for like 6 or 7 years. Or I doodled here and there, but I just couldn't do it. And that happens, but that's why people need other things, and you need to realize your mental health before it's too late. I'm a pretty big bitch. I've talked about this, and I've gained a lot of weight since I've been self-employed, and I didn't realize how bad it had gotten until I realized I was very unhealthy. I didn't think of it, and so now I'm working on fixing that. And even with me being sick, I make sure I work out every day. I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to take care of myself because you really do. You need to look into things like that. And this is, again, things you don't normally think of when you work a finger quote normal job. I'm not saying that art isn't a real job because it very much is. But there are so many people nowadays that are so used to working, where someone told them what to do, to where when they work on their own and they try to do it, they can't do it. They're like, I can't do this. This isn't financially stable. I'm going to go work at a company. I can't make my own things. Now, granted, someday, yes, I would love for my stories and my creations to be my income. For, me to be able to do whatever the hell I wanted. That's what anybody wants, realistically. But doing that doesn't mean I won't still take commissions because I enjoy doing them. If I didn't enjoy doing them, I wouldn't be doing them, and I feel like that's something that people need to just really sit back and think. What else do you like besides art? What can you see yourself doing in place of art? Because many people, and this is what that drives me up a wall, they want to be artists so they don't have to work. They want to be that artist to where, well, I make one picture a week and I post it up and I make thousands of views and there we go. And nothing wrong with people who've worked their way to get there. But there are so many people now who just want to get there. Where they want to be lazy. And you're not going to get there overnight. It's going to take hard work. It's going to take doing things you don't want to do. It's going to take a lot of practice. Like Holly brought up where people make fun of her or whatever for her animatics. When I'm sitting here like, yo, I can't do that. It impresses me because you're getting so much better. You have to do things that are going to better yourself that might seem tedious and not as much fun in the long run. I mean, another good example of this is drawing different body types. I hear people always complain about how do you draw this? How do you draw that? How come you do that? It's like, because I took a lot of time practicing drawing other body types. They looked really bad, and I didn't post a lot of them when I was practicing. But that's just it. I practiced. I worked towards it. And I sometimes do things I don't want to do, or it's really monotonous. I don't like doing still lives, but if my brain's fried and I can't think of anything, you bet your ass I'm going to start doing some still lives around my desk and just to get myself flowing. Because that's like anything, when you're an adult and you want to have this be a career, sometimes you have to do stuff you don't want to do so you can survive. This is something I tell people constantly because I've had people be like, oh, well, my parents have threatened to kick me out if I say I'm dropping out of school to be an artist, and I'm sitting here like, then don't drop out. You can keep making art and go to school. Don't lose your safety and your livelihood for something you love doing. Again, there were times where I thought about giving up art. I really did. When I was really, really in a bad financial situation. And even when I was working 3 jobs and going to school, I still never gave up art. I didn't draw nearly as much as I wanted, but I still did something small every day. And I'm glad I did that, because if I'd completely given it up, I don't know where I'd be right now. I'm pretty sure I still would. I probably would still be in school, but I would be in a fuck ton of debt. I would be doing a job that I think I enjoy, but slowly strips away at me. And now I'm in a place where I'm doing something I love every day, but I'm still treating it like a job. Like I said, even though I'm sick, I'm still working. I'm not working myself to death, but I'm also very much a workaholic because I like being a workaholic. I like being productive. I like fighting that broke artist, lazy artist stereotype, because honestly, the best way to prove people wrong, and not in the hee fuck you way, is to prove them wrong. People say things about being an artist, and they make assumptions, and they assume that we do nothing. Oh, you just sit on your ass and draw all day. Prove them wrong. Prove to them that you're making this work. Prove to them that you are working. Prove to them this is your passion. This is what you were meant to do. And then they have nothing to say. Because I also hear a lot of artists talk about the like, oh, well, you have friends or family who ask you to draw stuff. And I had that all the time. I had that all the time. Until I made art my career and I showed people that I was serious about it. Because when I started doing this full time, lots of people... I full on had a person tell me, well, it's a good thing that Cody has a real job so you can do this. To my face. And it's really insulting because Cody's never paid for my bills. He takes care of me. I'm not saying he's an asshole. He's not. But I take care of all my own bills. He takes care of all of his own bills. You know, we take each other out when we have money, when the other doesn't, that sort of thing. You're gonna have people who won't understand. This is a new field, this type of artwork. Back in the day, you were either a show painter or an animator, and that was it. That was pretty much it. You know, people didn't have jobs like they do now. And once I made art my career, and I was serious about it, my friends and my family do it, I've never had a single person ask me to draw them something for free. From a family member or a close friend. And I've talked to Aerofx about this, it's the same thing. But the second I had that small part-time job in between, I had people asking me again. Because they don't see, if they don't see you as taking it seriously, why would they take you seriously? If you don't treat your job like a job, how can you expect other people to treat you seriously? How do you expect people to respect you if you yourself do not prove to them, this is my career, this is my job, this is what I do every day, just like what you do every day. And that's all you have to do. And it'll take years. It usually won't happen overnight. But when it happens, and you actually see people start respecting you, it's the best thing in the world. For me, that's what pushes me forward, is the fact that I have a very supportive family and friend network. I have people who work in the industry come to me for advice, which is something I never thought would happen. And it's all because I never gave up. I kept working. I kept drawing even when I didn't want to. And again, I didn't do it to the point where I was physically hurting myself. Or mentally hurting myself. As I've always said, if you need to take a break, but never take longer than a day. And that's all I gotta say on this topic. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I made sense. And as always, I will. See you next time. Bye.